Einstein was very famous for a particular equation, and that equation was
E=mc².
And this tells us that for some amount of energy that I start with, I can equate that to the mass of the substance times the speed of light squared. So E=mc². This is actually a very powerful formula. And what he figured was that if mass was changing, so in atomic reactions and nuclear decay, they observed that the thing was getting lighter. So if we started with this chunk of uranium and they measured it, after a period of time we knew that radiation was coming off. By this stage we'd observed that, but we couldn't explain why it was getting lighter. Nothing was being created, so in theory this was destroying matter. We were destroying mass, which wasn't possible. So Einstein's equation fixed that. He said that matter, everything that we know in terms of mass, so remember we talked about weight versus mass. Weight is the force, mass is like the amount of stuff that something has. Mass is technically just energy. So if you've got a lot of mass to you, a lot of stuff within you, you've got a lot of energy, and vice versa. You can't have energy without some amount of mass. So what we said, well, what he worked out here is that for any amount of mass, if I times it by the speed of light squared, which is just a constant number, so that we hopefully know is 3 times 10 to the 8 meters per second. 3 times 10 to the 8 meters per second, or 300,000 kilometers per second. 3 times 10 to the 8. If we square this number, it becomes 8.98 times 10 to the 16 meters per second. Very big number. 8 with 16 zeros after it. Huge. So if I times this by the mass of any object, I can calculate how much energy it has. So remember, this is not necessarily usable energy. It doesn't mean if I'm really heavy, suddenly I've got all this energy and I don't need to eat and I can go for hours. It's how much energy is within my body, within all of my atoms. So let's do a calculation. For example, I weigh a nice round, pun not intended, 100 kilos. So if I weigh 100 kilos and I know that the speed of light squared is 8.98 times 10 to the 16, I can calculate how much energy I have, or how much energy my body is made up of. So therefore, if I do this times this, the energy, and I'll just write it, me, is equal to 8.98 times 10 to the 18 joules. That is a phenomenal amount of energy. 8 with 18 zeros. That's how many joules of energy my body is made up of. So if we could harness my body in some way, and we could efficiently invent a way to just extract all the energy out of me, I would be no longer here, I'd be obliterated. But we could basically run the earth off of my body. So this is like the concept of the matrix, of the human body being a battery. If we could harness this energy, we can literally use people as energy, or any form of mass as an energy source.